What is up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to the Shoshimin series, this time with Season 2, Episode 19, or Episode 9. Looking forward to this one. I'm not 100% sure how many episodes there is this season. I'm hoping it's more than 10, but I assume it is 10, so I've only got one episode left after this, which sucks. I expect anyway. But yeah, really interesting episode to kind of set out this arc. You guys know my theory. I feel like he stepped in the road himself, whether to off himself or to injure himself, and I'm not 100% sure of the exact motives yet, but just the way he dealt with it, with him calling the police himself and getting it sorted out and acting so calm. Something I didn't actually realise, well, I realised, but something I didn't kind of take into consideration was just how coincidental it was that Osunai was at both of these runnings over. She just somehow ended up being in like almost the exact same situation, and that very much is quite suspect, isn't it? I mean, again, it could be coincidental, but I'm not 100% sure of that. I don't know what significance she has to do with these drivers, though. It's like I think someone said like they were trying to run her over or trying to get at her, which could be understandable considering how she is. I imagine she has quite a few enemies. But yeah, it was a really interesting setup, especially the end of the episode, as we're going to be seeing the kind of origin of Osunai, whose name I can finally remember. Yeah, of Osunai and Kabato. Really looking forward to seeing how they kind of initially kind of, even the title of the episode was that. It's really interesting to think about just how you'd almost think they'd be rivals initially and they'd kind of oppose each other and they'd be like adversaries in a sense. Obviously we see them get along really well in the current time, but I just see them not getting along so well initially for some reason. I assume this is from Osunai. The Bad Wolf, huh? Oh, so we see these in the open, don't we? And there's one of them specifically in the opening. A little different, eh? So the way that she phrased that, like the big bad wolf, makes you feel like it is the same driver, and they're specifically trying to run over kids, perhaps Osunai. It was icy when Kabato got hit though, so I feel like if any of them are gonna be a coincidence, it's gonna be the Kabato getting ran over here. Sorry to pause already. Again, there's a lot of details already given, and we can already kind of figure probably out quite a few things. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna sound quite stupid to say, but it seems like it would be more coincidental this second occasion because it was icy on the roads and there's more reason for it to be coincidental. However, to oppose that, this is the second time it's happened in the exact same way, seemingly on the same road, with the same little girl there, which very much isn't coincidental and accidental. It doesn't feel like. So on one hand it feels more coincidental, on another hand it feels targeted and deliberate. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't know. This is going to be incredibly hard. Luckily I've never had to do this, but I've watched like documentaries on professional footballers and such, and them recovering from ACL injuries and so on, and to realise how goddamn painful and arduous it is rehabilitating yourself. I've done it to a certain degree. I have this kind of chronic issue with my ankle, so I've had to go about I've had to strengthen my ankle. And I think I spent about a month strengthening it, doing specific exercises for my ankle. And it wasn't like majorly painful or anything. It was a little bit painful, but that's as bad as it's been for me. So I'm quite lucky. That is another big thing, isn't it? That they don't, whoever it was, don't stop. They hit a kid and they don't stop. Well, that tells you everything about the person behind the wheel. Mm. That was a bit of a dodgy subtitle there. He did say he'd help her rather than let's work together. Which is like, there's a big difference. As much as they seem similar. So it did kind of go as I expected. Like I said, a bit of rivalry, a bit of kind of IQ kind of battle here of like pride and yeah, you just kind of feel that with people in any kind of top athletes that are at the top level. There's a lot of pride and a lot of ego involved in that, and I feel like this is kind of similar in terms of like IQ and detectiveness. I think there's bound to be that kind of spark, that kind of fire between them. Some of the best relationships are like that, I think. It can go one or two ways. They either absolutely love each other and get along really well, or they're eternal enemies and eternal rivals. But sometimes your biggest rival is actually a lot closer than you thought. And sometimes your best friend are actually working against you. It can go many ways. Getting him settled in lightly here with just a coffee, are we? Don't you worry about it. They'll be ramping up the snacks and the sweets as you go along. Strange behaviour. There's been a lot of strange behaviour. The more the show goes on, the more he is a bit of a creepy presence. Like Kabato is just like seemingly kind of slightly innocent, very smart detective-like kid. After the last arc, it has got a bit creepier to me. Like that shot of panning up to him there, quite creepy actually. So she's got some dirt on her or something, hasn't she? Just there to intimidate. Not the most. Well, I say not the most intimidating. Like I just said, he is the intimidation comes from the slight creepiness of him. There's just like it's almost like Norman Bates s. Not well, yeah, a bit like Norman Bates, I guess, yeah. But I actually meant to say oh no. It's a little bit like Norman Bates and kind of like trying to act normal. That just reminds me how much I love Psycho 2. I love that movie. Um, what is his bloody name? How am I forgetting this? How am I forgetting this? Patrick Bateman. That's the one. Similar, I guess. Norman Bates, Patrick Bateman. It's the bait. Yeah, they both got bait. I guess that's where the confusion came from. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Norman, Patrick Bateman. In just like you can very much tell that it's just like it's a very strange guy putting on the mask of a very kind of normal, um, everyday kind of businessman in that sense. But in this case, it's just like yeah, I mean, you could have drew those similarities earlier on the show in terms of like trying to act normal. There's probably a few parallels between this and American Psycho, but after the last arc specifically, he does like he's got that creepy presence of like some kind of major criminal. It's just got that uneasiness about him. It's just like he's too normal. He looks too normal. He's acting too normal, and because it's so normal, it's creepy. One of those things where it's like if you've ever seen like a mirror of yourself, that each side of your face is slightly different. But if you see someone with a perfectly mirrored face, it's actually very creepy, even though you'd think it'd be more weird and bad looking if someone had two different looks on either side of their face. It's actually more creepy if both sides of their face look exactly the same and are identically symmetrical. So it's like kind of that same feeling. Hopefully, I got my point across there. Neko da yo. Okay, buddy. Okay. What is that? What was he lying on? It's like a what was that? Joe was also a little creepy. That wolf. That wolf is a little creepy. Personally, if I got gifted that wolf and I was laying in the hospital bed, it'd be in the bin. Mm. I'm not sure how likely that is, though. You'd have to be very. So he didn't go this way. Yeah, you'd have to be very comfortable with committing crimes like this to then return to like normal speed and act like nothing happened. I'm not sure mistake is the right word. There's definitely something we're missing here. Yeah. All seems very logical and correct. But something is amiss. Anyway, that the water doesn't look very nice, does it? It looks like the Thames, which also doesn't look very nice. Dirty green. Which I think is correct. Is it? Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess subconsciously that's probably true. The smaller you are, the less seriously you're taken. What, that is like the most pointless chain I think I've ever seen. I mean, you could walk around it. It looks so brittle. You could probably just drive through it, and it wouldn't even damage your car very much. I mean, this is very much not the case, but I'm thinking of King Crimson here from JoJo's skipping time. What happens? Um, I think again I could just be talking absolute nonsense, but I think with any, I don't know if this is a thing in 2022, which is when this is. I believe we saw earlier. I think it used to be a thing. It might just be a movie thing, but I think I remember seeing that there was a specific point with CCTV where it would like skip ahead or something like that, where it would like there would be a couple frames or there would be a couple seconds where it wouldn't be able to capture, and if you viewed that, it would almost be it would just like instantly kind of move to the next point where it was recording something. Probably talking nonsense right now. I doubt that's the case here, but it could be the case that maybe there was like a glitch or something like that happened with the footage. I mean, your initial reaction is that they didn't come this way, but what other way could there have came? We literally crossed off every other direction. So at this point, again, you're kind of clasping at straws a little bit as to what the hell actually even happened. Another possibility is the car just stopped somewhere, but surely the police would have then caught them, right? I don't know. I was thinking maybe they ran on foot, but where'd they leave the car? So what I said last week, why were they not walking down? Why were they not walking down there? It was so stupid to walk here when you've got the option of walking down there. Unnecessarily risky and longer. What they notice here? Understandable. Hmm. Oh, yeah, we knew they were lying about something. Hmm. So they avoided the question of them being asked if they usually take this route home, and they also seemingly avoided didn't let us know that there was a third party present walking with them. I wonder what the significance of that third party is then. It must be big, right? Why wouldn't I mean I can understand someone wanting to not get involved in these matters, police matters and such, but what reason would you have to not want to get involved in something like that? I don't know. Interesting. I did say last week they were definitely hiding something. Just too much of their story didn't kind of add up. I obviously had no clue it was a third party and that they were hiding the fact that they seemingly don't usually walk this way home. Again, it just seems so stupid that they even walk on here. As I said, the area below, I don't care if it's not meant to be walked on. It's 100 times safer, quicker, in the shade. It's just there's no reason for them to be walking on the side of the road, less dangerous. Yeah, there was no reason for them to be walking on the road like this. They should have been walking on the grass beneath where they were walking. Yeah, that is the thing I was gonna say. Didn't we hear that that guy was he was just behind him? So it wasn't the case that there was three of them walking together. There was two people walking together. One of them had a bike, so he was pushed closer to the cars on the road. And then the kid that we interviewed about this, who we just saw, was just behind them, I think. It's the thing, we don't actually see it because it's like it's a mystery, so we're not going to actually see what happened until things are said and done. So we just got to kind of. I'm really not too great at creating mental images of things, but I think I've created a decent mental image of what has happened here. I'm much more of a kind of to learn things. I write it down and understand it by kind of listening and then writing it down and maybe writing down my kind of interpretation of it or a simplified version of it or something like that, rather than kind of visually being shown something and then yeah. Easier said than done. Easier said than done in this scenario to make some deductions. So every time I see this, I can't help but think of that bloody kid in Freddy vs. Jason, where Jason just squishes that guy together in the bed. Why can't we meet? Where did he just pick this up from? Oh, it's just didn't even notice it there actually. Oh, it's because it can't be seen. Oh, that's the wrong sort. Oh, it's just there on the side of his pillar. Why can't we meet? What is the Doshite? Ashitara. Doshite watashitara something something. There's nothing special about the Japanese use for this, so don't really know what that I do wonder why can't they meet? Why have we not actually seen Osanai? She keeps sending these messages and these. I assume she's coming here to leave the messages. Maybe she's getting someone else to, but I assume she's coming here and leaving the chocolate and the messages. So why can't she? Why have we not actually seen her? Yeah, is another question I have. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Really good episode again. Really good episode. The plot thickens. We didn't uncover too much today. We definitely, I mean, again, I did assume last week that they were lying with their testimonies, and evidently they are. There being a third party here, I had obviously no clue about. And yeah, just begs the question, why? What reason do they have to lie about this? Why would they try and protect something that they're like should be definitely in the right for? Like, they should not be prosecuted or held responsible for anything in a situation where they almost got ran over. So what reason would they have to do that? That's something we'll look at as well. That specific chocolate. There's a chocolate in the opening as well. One specific chocolate in the opening. This one is one with a pink wing or something in the corner. What is the chocolate in the opening? The chocolate in the opening is one that is cut in half and it's got something kind of blue in the corner. So let's have a little look at what chocolates they are exactly, because I imagine that might give something away. Might give us a little clue. Okay, so vanilla. The one in the opening is vanilla, which I think is the first one he ate. And the last one in the ending is the pink one in the corner. Which is quite funny actually. The opening one is the opening chocolate and the ending one is the ending chocolate. I guess that makes sense, and check that's all they're going to give us. There is these kind of descriptions in Japanese here that aren't translated. They, funny enough though, they did translate vanilla. They didn't translate the chocolates we don't see in the opening. So I imagine that's how this kind of looks like a vanilla kind of tale of people almost getting ran over. This is just your vanilla story of what happened. It all just happened and there's nothing spicy about it or anything. Again, I'd love to see what this says. It might just be describing the chocolate and the flavour, to be honest, is what I imagine. But yes, that's vanilla. And you don't quite get to see what the pink one. You can just about spot it in Japanese, but I can't read that. I can't really read katakana. So I wonder what flavour that is. That's a shame. I'd love to know what flavour that is. Maybe it might be too much of a spoiler or something, if it means anything at all. I mean, the sweet portion of the last arc definitely had a lot of meaning. It had multiple meanings of that as well, with the whole kind of layers of the caramel and sweetness. It kind of said a lot about the arc, so I feel like this probably does as well. But again, it can't quite translate that. So. But yeah, as I said, really good episode today. Nice seeing their kind of initial interaction, kind of as I expected, a little bit of a rivalry between them initially, kind of going at each other a little bit, like, oh, you think you can help me, and so on. As they're, I think I described it pretty well, the whole kind of athlete thing. I think in any business where you've got people of like a similar caliber, that caliber being like a top level of anything, in this case, kind of genius and kind of detective work and being unordinary, I guess. I just struggled to actually pick a specific word for it, but just their nature. I think, again, they're either destined to kind of be rivals or destined to be very good kind of friends and help each other a lot. And I'm glad it did end up that way. Although it would also be really cool. It'd be a little bit like... it could be a little bit like Death Note in that regard. They could have had like a bit of a face-off similar to kind of L and Light and like Death Note or something like that. That would have been pretty interesting. But I'm glad it did go this way. But yeah, really cool seeing this scene again. Really creepy shot, honestly, of him here. Honestly, my biggest favorite points about this show is the directing. Just like ideas like this, where it just like it pans up like this and just perfectly encapsulates the intimidation as well as the creepiness, and just like, I think the director of this series is so good, especially considering Tower of God season 2 recently aired a few months ago, and the directing in that was some of the worst I've ever seen in anime. So to go from that to this is light and day. I think this has just got a very cinematic tone in general, hasn't it? Even with like the bars. I forget what aspect ratio this is, but just like the different kind of the more cinematic aspect ratio and so on. This does kind of feel very much kind of amplified like that, doesn't it? But yeah, do let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Probably plenty of theories going through your guys' heads. Me personally, it very much seems like I was probably very wrong about the whole him stepping into the traffic by purpose deal, and it is much more of a mystery to do with the driver, because where did the driver go? There's no CCTV, nothing. There's no roads he could have gone down other than the one that we checked the CCTV for. So, yeah, it's an absolute mystery with the driver. But I'm hoping he gets his comeuppance because, like I said, it's just absolutely disgusting that you can just have the nerve to drive away after doing something like this, whether it be an accident or on purpose. Really says a lot about you. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. And I'll see you guys next week with episode 10. I was actually going to check out just for my own benefit, to be honest. I was actually going to check out how many episodes we've got left. I'm hoping it's more than one, but I assume it's one. I feel like there is enough material here for like 2 or 3 episodes. 2 probably. So I'm hoping it might be 11 episodes or something like that. But where is it? Wow, is it really not one of the most? Wow, this show really is quite I'm not sure underrated is the word, because it seems like a lot of people that do watch the show really like it. Understated, is that the word for it? Underpopular. Look how far it's below Your Former, for God's sake, which was an absolute mess of a show. Absolute mess. They skipped an entire first volume in that show just to put things into context, and somehow that's more popular than this. It's just insane. Then again, you can look at Solo Leveling and come to conclusions on that as well. It still doesn't say. There's still not a confirmed amount of episodes, which I find quite strange considering how close we are to what I assume is the end. Well, yeah, I guess we don't know. Yeah, again, thank you guys very much for watching, and have a good rest of your day.